This is the second half of the translation of Luang Pu Jigong's reflection on the 7th of January 2023. So he continued by saying that the only thing he asked you is to preserve the form of being ordained and follow the path well, so that when you enlighten, you can turn the wheel of Dhamma and share your blessing to the world and samsara. So he only asked you to fight with kilesa, or the defilement. So the most basic, the obvious kilesa that you have to see is the delusion in the skeleton, the delusive attachment to the physical form of the opposite sex. Common people always deludedly have admiration to the skeletons or the physical form, which only composed with the structure of the bones. So delusive attachment follow. Luang Pu said he has been putting emphasis again and again, repeatedly telling you about these things, not to fall in seeing the appearance or the physical form of the opposite sex. Then Luang Pu recited a teaching that he frequently, repeatedly telling us. Our bodies are made of skeletons, plastered with flesh and blood, and full of waste. This human body is as a city of sewage and waste. He encouraged us to contemplate on this, the thing that he recited. So the first step for us to get rid of our defilement is to begin with contemplate on the thing he said just now first. He said some nak bwat, some ordained person, they has fought until they almost conquer, almost win over the defilement, but then in the end they were defeated because of the skeleton, which he meant the opposite sex. Sometimes he thought of some monk who have been practicing well, but when he asked about that monk already disrobed and have 3 children. So these examples make him having to repeat this and remind us to be aware of this defilement. Again, he emphasized today main reflection is that to make sure that you stay great, always be in the great way, because being nak bwat is great. You have to be decisive, you have to be brave, you have to be resolute and fight this kilesa well. Kilesa is more serious or heavier or very high impact, more fearful than the world war. because the most harmful thing that could happen when World War start is just to make you dead. But if you deludedly following your kilesa or defilements, is endless bad karmic retribution will follow life after life. หลวงปู่ again saying that he already at his old age, so he cannot lead us physically to fight this war. However, he think it is good that he don't need to lead us in the physical way to fight the war, but he can lead you in spirituality. And then he said through the mind strength, through spirituality, he can be sharing his blessing freely. He even can go to America. Then he laughed and he said, oh, maybe that day Dr. Huang has a clear channel so she can receive his words. He was talking about when Dr. Huang here, he came to her and speak to her. If your channel is empty, you can receive well, but if your channel is full of this and that, you cannot receive his blessing, you cannot receive his teaching. As if you are residing in different dimension. Then he turned to Manning and said to me that please send gratitude and thanks to Dr. Huang for all her support, and please tell Dr. Huang that in the future, in times to come, he has planned to build a bhikkhuni temple or nunnery, the Dhamma center for female, because he has built many temples and made a lot of dana and offerings to the male side, the bhikkhu, the monks. He had already built 8 temples for monks in Thailand. He said all the offerings or the money that offered to him, he has no need to spend for any personal things to feed his own personal desire. So where should he spend all the offering that was given to him? So he bought land and built temples for monks. Already he has built 8 temples. And he also found monks to take care of those temples already. So this year, 2023, he has a vision that he would build the Dhamma center or for female or bhikkhuni temples or nunnery. So he informed 2 persons. Like the first 2 persons that he informed was Ajahn San and Manning, and he makes sure that we will not go around and trying to raise fund for him or promote this project and try to get fund or money to help him on this project. หลวงปู่ will collect the money that offered to him to buy land and to build the place himself. So let us not ask for money or raise fund or asking for donation for this project. Only people who have wisdom, only people who has more than what they need to spend on, they will have the way of making this merit with him. If the money that offered to him came from the wrong approach, like like begging from others and give to him, he will return the money back and let you come back with the money that came from the right source. Because with Luang Pu character, he said he want his way to be firm, to be stable and flawless. He said when he was monk, when he was a nak bwat, he resided in the area of Pasamyot where we were sitting with him, and he said he was one of the most beautiful practitioners in the area. For example, after the gathering, Dhamma gathering, he lie down to take a rest, but when people came in to where he was lying down, they didn't see him there. They were looking for him, and then he said, "Are you looking for me?" And they got like shocked and surprised because they cannot see him. So this means that when he don't want people to see him, he can make himself invisible. So what he mean by being the most beautiful and gracious is mean that he can perform some extraordinary phenomena or supernatural power. Sometimes when he was lying down, young monk or small novice came trying to steal his cigarette. So he kicked their butt, and they was like, "Oh, why you're here? When I came in, I saw no one," like that. Then he told the group that in the old days, he was wearing full uniform and leading the troop of monks around this area, and monks and Dhamma practitioner has appointed him as an official patriarch, or is the name of the position of the head of all monks or the monk body in Thailand. Even though he was so white, he used the word white, but actually it means that his practice was so pure, but still people painted him black, means they are giving blame on him. Even they throw the black color on him, but they cannot paint him black. The paint, the color, didn't create a stain on him. However, the stain or the fault reflected back to those who throw the color on him, the black color on him. Luang Pu said he did give warning, so for those who want to blame him or find fault in him, not to do that, because the bad result or the negative karma will bounce right back to the one who tried to hurt and harm him. Luang Pu did tell them that Luang Pu is not ordinary. He is not the common people that anyone can hurt or harm or blame or find fault without getting a very serious payback. Luang Pu's temple at the time that he mentioned about this was full of monks. There were as many monks as like 300-400 monks living with Luang Pu without having to build kuti for them to stay. There were like not many kutis because most of them will stay and practice in cave or in like monk tent like that. The temple was well took care of and protected by many soldiers. The soldiers came and like taking care of the temple. Luang Pu said that he has to be very careful these days to protect the Luk Lan or the followers or whoever come to see him, to meet him, not to give the opportunity for them to create sinful karma by accusing him for being bad or like misjudging his behavior or find fault in him, because it will create a very serious karmic retribution or karmic payback for them if they have this negative view toward Luang Pu or create hurt or harm to Luang Pu. So Luang Pu is leading us in a firm way, in a stable way. Then he just said like he doesn't want to be famous by making medicine to stop people from COVID-19. He has his reason for making medicine to create the remedies for someone who could be saved, but he told us not to advertise, not have to like spread out this special ability or the things that he make, that to promote it, not to promote it. This is not his things. He doesn't want to be promoted on these things. So just remember that when talking about Luang Pu or Luang Pu behavior or Luang Pu teaching, go direct to Dhamma, go direct to the truth of Dhamma. So Buddhism is the science that can be proven. If you upholding Dhamma and practice it well, you will have a fruitful results. He told us not to have faith because of believing. When people said that Luang Pu can make remedy to cure COVID, don't believe it. You don't have to believe it. So let's believe through reasoning. Be sensible. His behavior or conduct is only according to Dhamma, and he is only leading in that way. So his character is tough, but not striking against and create no dispute. To be the sanctuary or the supporter to the beings in the world and samsara, he has to be tough and reasoning, and also using the truth of Dhamma, Satya Dhamma, to erase all defilement, so that all members of the Buddhist company can follow. and uphold the truth of Dhamma as he has saw it, and conquer as he had conquered. Luang Pu said he had already conquered. Now Luang Pu is old and he is not a preacher, so he cannot preach you anything. He can only make jokes like Nyan Cao Hi, Nyan Cao Hoi, or singing local dialect songs that amuse people. Again, he told the audience to continue practicing Dhamma. And he praised Rompotitham one more time that he said Rompotitham is the most beautiful place, because other temple now they are with the flow of the world. They all have fell into the flow of the worldly way. All monks has telephone. In every temple has technology, and they just follow the seeing and knowing through all these electronic devices. Again, he said, please send my thanks and gratitude to Dr. Huang. And then he paused. He said he saw pictures from the past. Manning herself, thinking that he was talking about past life. He was just like out of the blue saying like the word nak rop, which means warrior. So maybe he saw Dr. Huang as a warrior whom he sent into the battlefield. And then he talked about himself that he used to be a warrior when he was young, and later on he became the warrior of the Buddha, and now belong to the Dhamma army, and he lead by the position of the unofficial patriarch. So he said, translate this well, and I'm sure Manning can translate this, what he meant. So I would elaborate, saying that even in the past life, or any life that we were like warrior and fighting in the war, like the worldly way, but now we are the warrior, that the troop of Dhamma work for the Buddha, and we fight the kilesa and defilement just to conquer the defilement. Then share our blessing to the world and samsara. He said, after listen to this, just take it as a humor and relax, relieve. Let's not think too much. Don't take anything serious. Let's not have attachment or fixation to anything. Let's relax. Let go. Do not feel sad. Do not feel depressed. Don't feel sorry about anything in your life. It is already good that we are born as human. Let's practice Dhamma. Everything is the accumulation of karma from lifetime after lifetime. Everything is collected in our storage of imagination. Sometimes this karmic retribution from our past karma will manifest It will make us depressed at times, feel sad at times, feel negative at times, but don't worry about it. If you got stuck, you cannot fix anything, you cannot solve the problem, you will have depression, you become stressful. This is very common. People in the world all have this. If you living in the world, especially in big cities, you will have these negative feelings, depression, all the same. People in the world only eat, sleep, and procreate, have sex, have baby, and try to avoid danger. Then he turned to Manning. Isn't it right, Ning, that this is nonsense? It's not important at all, right? And I say yes. To just live for eating, sleeping, having sex, and run away from danger is not important at all. It is the maximum ignorant, ultimate ignorant. Most people cannot avoid danger because they themselves create harm for themselves. They create hell realm for themselves. They create the next existence to become hungry ghosts themselves. And also the demon existence as demons or animals that have ignorance and foolishness. Some might create heaven for themselves, which is a little better. Then he recited a poem, flying into the vast sky. Alas, O life, it is impermanent. Burying the body under the ground, ending the karma. All human has to inherit a human heritage of being born, growing old, getting sick, and die. So if one fly up into the sky, it means that they have created some meritful karma, so they can transcend to the heaven. But life is impermanent, so when you die, your body has to be buried under the ground, and you end the karma for this life. You cannot create any more good karma or bad karma anymore. However, even you create a meritful karma and you can go to heaven, but you must aware and be careful that even you are in heaven, you can fail off the heaven also, because even the life in heaven is also impermanent. So after you finish the time enjoying the meritful retribution up in heaven, what will you become next? You might fall to the lower plane of existences. You will not know where you will go to. Even Luang Pu knows where you will go, but it is not polite. He said it is not a good manner to tell this secret. The Buddha is not encouraged, or the enlightened person who has supernatural power or special insight to reveal all the things they know to common people. So the Buddha said, keep quiet about it. because when you hear the prediction that you might not like, you might curse the one who tell you, and it will be the sinful karma for the person who have negative view toward the one who has special insight. Then he praised the audience who areนักบวช again that they are beautiful, beautiful, graceful, graceful, and please preserve this, preserve the good culture. หลวงปู่ is seeing the picture of kinship, or we all related. We are the relative through having the Buddha as our father. We are related like being relative through Dhamma. It's not like having relative in the worldly way, because your relative will always have conflict and fight among one another. But when we are related as relative through Dhamma, we have the same aim or the same target. It is the greatest way to be related to one another, because the relative in Dhamma has the same destination that we are moving forward to, so we can depend on and rely on and supporting one another. We can take care of one another and protect one another from harm and dangers. Toward the end of the session, he recite the verses that he always tell us, which go, my father, the Lord Buddha, is the greatest in this world. In all remaining life to come, I pray to worship his grace. My mother is the most prominent star in the Milky Way. I will make myself stand out like my mother. My consort is the goddess that resides in the heaven. She holds the weapon of beauty and goodness, so I don't have to be tired searching anywhere for the princess to get married to anymore. My senior or elder brother or group of the enlightened one. In all remaining life to come, I vow to serve them. My juniors or the younger followers are those who will behave well and practice Buddha's Dhamma correctly. I will teach them to fly. Fly here, come my brother and sister, follow me. Fly fast and high. I only allow you to fly as low as 2 inches above the novel. If any lower, you will crash into the Himalayas, falling into the dark woeful states. My children are the 4 Buddhist company. If they pray to in remembrance of me, I will protect them from all dangers. He paused here and he said, yes, Dr. Huang pray a lot to me, so I go and like save her and protect her. And then he kind of turned to Manning and teased like some of them, the channel is not empty. I cannot send my blessing. Okay, then he carry on. Other beings outside of those mentioned before are just friends who marry, participate in birth, aging, sickness, and death in this samsara. So he said for us to keep flying high, practicing Dhamma, and he told Hung Le, when going to Vietnam, take Theravada Dhamma to share with the Buddhist company in Vietnam, and he said Vietnam has both Mahayana and Theravada, but we go and give the Satyatham, the truth of Dhamma there. So he talk about all differences of Mahayana and Theravada in the countries in Southeast Asia, and he said we don't need to ask what Luang Pu is doing. Then he start to like stamping the floor and send out the Anupap and my strength and blessing force to the audience. When Luang Pu lost train of his thoughts, he cannot recall what he was going to say, but he said never mind, because he will just bring out any words that can send Anupap, can send the blessing, can bring the power out to be shared, and that is enough. He only focus on the benefit to share out to others, because his own benefit he has already achieved. He has accomplished perfectly already. He don't need to do anything else. He doesn't have to practice in any way anymore. Now he only focus on the benefit of the audience or the others, and how much we can receive is up to us. How much we can take from him is only depending on us. He considered himself doing the maximum goodness to all, because he has been sharing Dhamma to others, and this is the greatest benefit that can be given to others. Buddha's Dhamma is the greatest science of the world, and Luang Pu has been sharing this out already. He has done perfectly to benefit himself already. So what is left now is to take care of this physical body. So he eat when he is hungry, he sleep when he is sleepy, when it's hot he take a shower, and at the end he give a blessing through words, Jalaran Pon.